Every one of us carries around a pocket guide to world history and culture. Thumbing through a wallet of bills is like paging through a textbook. Sorting coins seems like scrolling through tiny disks of information technology crammed with words and images. In America today, Johnny cannot pay cash for so much as a soda without connecting his present to a long and eventful past, filled with important people, patriotic slogans, a profession of faith, historic events, symbols of power, and even the dead language of ancient Rome. He may imagine that he is simply completing a transaction in order to quench his thirst. But a great deal more is going on every time we involve ourselves with cash. Perhaps Johnny has never read his money or examined its account of his history and cultural identity. Maybe Johnny, and his sister Jane too, think of their money as only a means to an end. Perhaps Johnny is not aware that his pockets and Jane's purse harbor the historic relics of many American milestones, including a great constitutional crisis that arose during the Civil War. In fact, the money he spent for his soda may have saved the Union and kept united the states into which he was born. To coin. A phrase. In 1862, Commander-in-Chief Abraham Lincoln learned firsthand that war exhausts wealth as wastefully as it does human life. The crippling costs of the Civil War could not be met by the nation's traditional reliance upon coinage, forcing the President and Congress to test the limits of the Constitution by issuing as legal tender the federal government's first paper currency. Called greenbacks because of the distinctive ink used to thwart counterfeiters, this money made Union victory possible, but remained in doubt as a legitimate exercise of congressional power. It required 3 Supreme Court cases after the war to settle the matter, the first declaring the action unconstitutional and the others upholding the government's right to print as well as to mint money. This turning point in American history rested in part on a fairly simple question. What does the word coin mean? The constitutional issue before the Supreme Court was whether the verb necessarily intends the noun. Until the monetary crisis of 1862, Congress had acted as though it did by authorizing only a metallic currency, such as a gold federal dollar. Yet, money has a remarkable and restless history, anchored in the past but anxious for the future. Green has therefore gained a place alongside gold. Money may no longer be metal alone. That explains why people today can find in their pockets and purses an homage to Lincoln, minted not only onto a 1-cent metallic coin, but also printed onto a $5 bill. Both are now money, both currency, and both coined with constitutional authority in a nation saved in part by the expansive interpretation of a single word. At this very moment, money is on the move again, exploring the digital depths of cyberspace and testing the meanings of coin once more. What, after all, is a Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bytecoin, Insane Coin, New Coin, Swift Coin, or Dogecoin? These are just a few of the many new cryptocurrencies based on blockchain technology. The inventors of this innovative money seek a profound break from the world's long reliance upon physical cash. They are boldly challenging millennia of monetary convention. Yet, they seem reluctant to think outside the cash box when naming their creations. Bitcoins, after all, are not a bit like coins, and only with the loosest language are such currencies said to be mined. We are once again expanding what can be considered money, currency, and coinage by mining money, not made of metals, and coining intangible computer code. Cryptocurrencies remind us that the money of tomorrow can never be anticipated today. Even so, coined money, in its original form of stamped metals, is likely to endure this challenge. After all, confidence in cryptocurrency has already been shaken by the untimely death of one of its champions, Gerald Cotton, CEO of Quadriga CX, who took to his grave the password to $190 million worth of other people's money. When this wealth vanished, Cotton's 115,000 customers could recover only a small portion of their money.